Hi, I'm Jim Smith. This is the 1000. Here I'm out at the range trying to do a little shooting, have a little fun in this beautiful Saskatchewan fall day. But I have to talk to you about probably the thorniest issue that we have in our whole movement, and that's the issue of licensing firearms owners. Um, the left, the gun banners, the public, everybody's really thrilled in this, and even Jean Chrétien said, well, you have to have a license to drive a car. You have to have a registration to drive a car. Of course, Jean Chrétien is a man who's never had a driver's license, so he's been chauffeured around his whole blinking life. So I don't really know what he's got to say about all this stuff. And he's a big golf fan, and of course, when you drive around the golf cart on a golf course, you don't need a driver's license and you don't need a license on the vehicle because it's on private property. And I think the first thing about this registration thing that's really odious is they're trying to control your own private property on your private property, which is to some great degree none of the state's business. However, let's look at this from a glass half full, glass half empty thing. We can sit and we can bitch and bellyache and whine and forever, and nothing's going to happen because everybody's in favor of this because nobody thinks through what a firearms license actually means. So let's think through what it really means. This idea of licensing firearms owners goes back to David A. Tomlinson, the president of the NFA for many years, and a very, very smart man. And Dave said, if you got a license, what do you need all this registration crap for? Dave's right. He's gone, but he's right. His ghost is upon us. Because the bottom line is we don't need chief firearms officers, we don't need registrations, we don't need prohibitions, we don't need restrictions, we don't need any of this stuff if the license actually works. Because if the license actually works, then we're safe. And we're safe with my 22, my 243 here, or anything else I should want to arm because I am a safe person and I've proven to be safe with firearms. It goes that way with vehicles. There are different categories: class 1 license for the big semis, an ordinary driver's license, a special license for motorcycles. Dave said, you could do that for guns if you really wanted to, but once you've done it, that's it. It's done, finished, kaput. It's out the door. And that's what we need to do. We find that most of the people who abuse firearms are not firearms enthusiasts. They're not educated, trained, and excited about the fun you can have with firearms in the recreational firearms community. Recreational firearms community, us, you and me, we're very protective of our reputation and we don't allow a lot of abuse to happen. Now, if we are compared to cars, and I love the car comparison because in any given weekend more people die in vehicle accidents and die in gun incidents all year round, and that includes the criminal use of firearms and the police use of firearms, both of which are outside the purview of what ordinary legal procedures can take care of. So let's think about this for a bit. If we're going to do it that way, and cars are the thing. Now, the other thing about cars is cars are regulated provincially. Driver's licenses are registered provincially because it is held in our Constitution that we should actually have those items as regulation of property done provincially, closer to the people that are involved. Now, the Supreme Court, in its infinite wisdom, and I use great sarcasm here, has decreed that firearms are different because they're such a tremendous threat to the public that they need to be regulated federally. I say, with all due respect to the members of the Supreme Court of Canada, you guys got it totally, completely, and utterly wrong, and you're letting political correctness get in the way of the facts. The facts are firearms in the hands of people who are skilled and safe in the use of firearms are no threat to anybody. They're not much more dangerous than a lawnmower. By the way, lawnmowers do occasionally cause fatalities in Canada. So we have a choice, it seems to me, in the spirit of compromise, and the Coalition for Gun Control always wants compromise. Here's my compromise. I'll stop bellyaching about licenses when you guys will stop bellyaching about registrations, prohibitions, cancellations, restrictions, and all that stuff. Because if I'm a licensed firearms owner, I am in fact safe. Or if you continue to want to have registered pistols, restricted this, restricted that, prohibited something else, CFOs running around, that's chief firearms officers for people that are from outside the country, acting like little petty martinets and all that sort of stuff, then ditch the license. But regardless, in both these positions, the license needs to be decriminalized. Not having a license when you're driving your car is not a criminal offense. We've made this point 1,000 times by 1,000 different people. It is not a criminal offense, so why should it be? As a matter of fact, driving without registration is not a big deal either. It's a fine, but it's just a traffic fine. It's a provincial statute. It doesn't keep you from getting a passport, doesn't get you thrown in jail, doesn't get you a 10-year firearms prohibition, nothing like that. So why us? Well, it's because they're using this simile, this comparison, incorrectly. They know darn well they're false. They're lying through their teeth. That's the way it is. We have to call them on it. But here's the deal. Decriminalize the license. Get rid of all the foo-for-ah and regulations, and we'll talk about cutting down misuse of firearms. And oh, by the way, when you get some puke with an unregistered firearm with a high-capacity magazine that's illegally imported in the country, I think I'm speaking for all law-abiding Canadian gun owners to say, put him in jail, throw away the key, and when he gets out, deport his butt back to wherever he came from if you possibly can, and make sure he doesn't come back, okay? Let's get serious about this. If you really want to save a life once in a while, that might actually help a little bit, okay? All this looking after the civilian shooter, in case they all of a sudden, remember our episode on voodoo. You got to watch the voodoo episode. You got to understand this. They actually believe that touching a firearm somehow makes you an evil and less worthy person. This is absolutely ridiculous. So that's our episode for today. I could ramble on for probably hours on this issue. It's a very serious issue. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like it with your friends. Share it around and about. And if you can possibly support us, this is a volunteer organization. The camera we're shooting on, the equipment we're using is all bought with your proceeds. And we move forward as our movement, as our friends and supporters move forward. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thanks for dropping in and watching. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your friends. Please like it. Please subscribe to our channel and drop into www.the1000.ca and follow our movement. Bye.